President Uhuru Kenyatta has not missed his words when it comes to changing the lives of the people of Kenya. In Kenya, for example, dispensaries, hospitals, clinics are mushrooming every day, every night. Yesterday, President Uhuru Kenyatta did open another hospital in one of the places where hospital has never been. It has been a curse, a leprosy, an abomination. In Kibra, you could not hear of a hospital in Kibra. Yesterday, those are the no-go areas that President Uhuru Kenyatta has gone miles and miles ahead to make sure that he brings some services to the people. If you go to Nairobi at the moment, the whole of Nairobi is under construction. Literally speaking, the big roads, the flyovers across the country, several flyovers, several good roads are coming up. It means he's preparing for the legacy, preparing for the future of Kenya. Miriam, that is the topic of the day. Good morning, Africa. Good morning, wherever you are. Thank you very much for watching Punchline Africa Television again. Thank you very much, Miriam and the panel, for having been there this morning for us. And you stood your ground on a number of things on the papers, headlines making news, or news making headlines in other papers worldwide. We have several stories coming across the spectrum, and Punchline Africa, as usual, brings those stories to your dining table, sitting room, office, and wherever you are. You don't need to pick a remote control. You pick your phone and enjoy us on your telephone. So thank you very much. This morning is the editor's memo. And I want to begin by saying thank you very much, Kenyans, and thank you very much, Africans. I want to discuss the subject of dominance and monopoly. Monopoly, dominance, and business in Africa. I'm not a good economist. I want to submit. But I'm a person who keeps heritage. I submit, therefore. And these are my kicking points now. I submit that Africa is one of the most gifted continents. Innovations in Africa are the most gifted innovations because they come from a hard-working situations. The innovation, the discovery, innovations of electricity in the 1880s, innovation of aviation, flights, has kept Europe, America, and other continents on the world map. Africa, from my point of view, has got quite a lot of innovations that are hijacked and taken away, remodeled, and brought back in a different format. I have read with dismay this morning that some people want to break up Safaricom or want to break up Mpesa, remove it from Safaricom and make it look like a commercial bank. You see, one of the problems, for the first time, let me disagree. The governor of the central bank is a good guy, friend. we have never had any exchanges, but I disagree on this. I'll disagree, and I want to make it very clear that the world hears why I'm disagreeing. I'm disagreeing because I want to protect Africa. I'm disagreeing because it is not the right time to bring it. I'm disagreeing because heritage must be kept. I'm disagreeing because it doesn't add up. I'm disagreeing because you can't destroy the mother and allow the child to be on this throne. You can't destroy the child and tell the mother to go away. I disagree. And I want anybody to come here and face me, telling me that Matanga, you have disagreed with us, therefore you are wrong. I want a challenge. I want to teach this person why we people on the African continent remain the same people. That we get the laws of Britain, bring them to Africa and use them against ourselves, while Britain does not use them anymore. The law of monopoly and dominance is a British law, but the British have kept their pound. The British, have you ever seen Britain trading in a dollar? It does. When the money goes into Britain, it turns into a pound. Don't you see the pound is the strongest currency on planet Earth? Don't you see it as an African? And you want to dilute your innovation. Kenya was the first country on this continent of Africa to have an innovation of Mpesa, of transacting money using a phone without being there physically. Kenya 20 years ago did not know there will be COVID, that COVID will frustrate us, will stop us from transacting in the banks. You want now to destroy your innovation by saying we have to expand and go where? Why don't you expand Safaricom together with its components out as an entity, just as the British expanded their pound together with the stock exchange, the British Stock Exchange, the London Stock Exchange, that has been duplicated in Nairobi, is a duplicate of London Stock Exchange. But the British have never diluted their pound. The British have never changed their trading in the stock exchange to a dollar. The FTSE index remains the FTSE index. The downs remain the downs in America. Why do you want to dilute yours? By saying we want to separate it to become, because it's dominant. I want to ask Kenyans, what type of politics is this? I want to ask Kenyans, where have we gone wrong? Who bewitched us that today Safaricom has served a purpose? It's one of the few companies that has stood the wind. My late friend from London, from Croydon, Bob Corimo, a drink mate of mine in Kursdon, came to this country, was the second managing director, chief executive of Safaricom. May his soul rest in peace. If Bob Corimo was here, he would protest the separation of Mpesa from Safaricom. Therefore, Bob Corimo, whatever you are my brother. We used to have a drink together in London in Coulsdon Club, Lady Agnes pub. Remember it, sir, pray for me. I'm standing for you. Separation of Safaricom, Mpesa from Safaricom is breeding corruption. It's just going to destroy Safaricom. We shall be the people. The people of Kenya will be the losers. The people using the Safaricom will be more or less like a bank. You want something that you can manage by yourself. How many of you now go to the bank, to the counter to draw money? Carry money in big hands, bags. How many? Let's look at the advantages of Mpesa versus the advantages of it. So why do you take us to a banking hall again? Why are you taking people, Mr. Governor? Why are you taking people to a banking hall? Why do you bring such a subject during election time and you give the people, opponents, to destroy the legacy of which you have been so well placed with President Uhuru Kenyatta's legacy? Why do you bring such topics at this hour? That topic gives fuel to people who say we don't care for the downtrodden. This is not a topic that should be discussed. I submit, therefore, from the editor's point of view, that separation of Safaricom, of Mpesa from Safaricom, would dilute the existence of Safaricom as one of the most powerful machinery institution on the African continent. MTN in Kampala has grown, expanded in several countries. Vodafone, Airtel, but there is none of them that has beaten Safaricom in terms of membership and in terms of business on the continent of Africa. None. None has done so. Why? Because of the nature of Safaricom. Because of the nature of Safaricom being, I don't know whether you are hearing me properly, Miriam. Are you hearing me properly?
We can hear you.
Yes, because I did, my microphone had fallen a bit. The nature of the business that Safaricom transacts gives it prominence on the markets in Africa. So when you take away Mpesa from Safaricom, Safaricom will not be marketable across other places. People have copied Safaricom that in Nigeria now, a naira can be sent effectively. So what Kenya should do is to copyright now their innovation, protect their innovation, put their innovation under wrap. For anyone who wants to copy how Kenya transfers money to billions, to millions and millions of its people, must come and read and ask for permission from them. Instead, Miriam, at the panel, we are going now, we want to make it a commercial bank where people make a telephone call, one telephone call, and 15 billion is paid to Harun Ayadin. You see, Ruto made one telephone call and 15 billion was paid to Harun Ayadin. He disappeared with it. Didn't you hear Ruto tell us that I made a telephone call? It is the same Ruto who, when this debate came, he was the one who had actually engineered for even George Soros to come and take the Safaricom, separate Safaricom and Mpesa so that they divide and he takes some franchise. He brought a French company, Ruto,
I can give you the details. I have the intel. I have the intel. I have the intel with me. I don't speak without facts. For the first time, I'm disagreeing on this. You cannot separate Mpesa, which is helping the ordinary people, and bring such a topic during the campaign times. You're rubbish. I'm sorry to use that language. Such topics should not appear during the campaign. This time, no. We mislead. The president works so hard to keep his legacy, but there are people who destroy his legacy. You can't bring such a topic at the moment. The governor has done so well, kept the economy under wraps during the COVID-19. Mpesa helped. Mpesa transactions helped during the economy. Now you want to bring corruption in Mpesa by separating it and keep putting a managing director of Mpesa with a big car, 7 bodyguards. No! You are cheating Kenyans again. What type of politics is this? Are these people playing? Where is Raila and the other people? What, right? Your Excellency, Right Honorable Prime Minister, talk about this. This is not a good topic at this moment. It cannot come at the time and then we have people who is engineering this type of topic. It cannot be. The British protect their pound today. The British protect even their money. The pound will never be diluted. When you carry a pound in the pocket, I have a pound in my wallet, 20 pounds. I always keep 20 pounds because it is a crime in Britain to move without a pound. You are arrested as a vagrant, a vagabond. If you are found by British police without money in the pocket, straight to Croydon police station, or straight to Streatham or Central London police station, because you are now a menace to the society. That's how laws are. So I always carry my 20 pounds in the wallet, and I never use it. I never use it, because anytime police must stop me, being a black man, coming out of a car, a Range Rover, which I drive, while in London, and the police will come to say, hello, can we see a bit of your papers? Then they say, how much do you have? You say you have no pound. How did you get this car? How will you get the fuel? These are the type of questions they ask. So I am now saying, this protect the interests of the poor. The poor use Mpesa. Our mothers, our grandmothers, some of them have their phone waiting for that click of 2 shillings, 20 shillings, 50 shillings, so that it goes down the market. Why do you want to make it a bank? Create a hierarchy of gentlemen in blue suits walking around, allowing Waiguru to come and carry 68 million at night. Walk cut, allowing Ruto to carry billions with Arun, a terrorist from Turkey, and they disappeared with it. The money has gone to kill us. Thanks, President Museveni is waiting for Ruto to explain how he took a terrorist to see him. You know, the Ugandan guy does not joke like some people here in the region. So, some of us have been with him longer. Miriam, we are from 1978, so we know him. So you go. You continue going there, Mr. Ruto. Why are you not flying there of late? Why is Ruto not flying there? Fly there and go and see him again. and explain how you gave Harun Ayadin money. There are certain people who don't talk, they take action. So I am just advising, I'm just requesting the government to step in this. This is not a campaign from the editor's memo. This separation of Mpesa from Safaricom, the debate should not. There is no public participation. I'm sure if you told the public that separate Mpesa from their Safaricom, 99.1% or 99.9% of Kenyans, including myself, who is not a Kenyan, but a Gentile from Philippines, I would say, let me have Mpesa with Safaricom. So I submit, Miriam, let's protect our institutions, let's protect everything that we have created, let's not change, let's not give innovation another name to other people. You created Safaricom, go and name and say, anybody using this type of must talk to us. And Kenya would be earning money out of Mpesa. Isn't it true? Kenya would be earning out of Mpesa. Because there are countries, even in Britain itself, United Kingdom now, there is nowhere you can transfer money on the telephone using Safaricom technique. You can use the current IT system of computer and digital, but not the Safaricom, which is physical. Have you seen? They have not managed. All what you need is to create a Safaricom regulations. I submit, therefore, that separation of Safaricom, Mpesa from Safaricom is not in good faith. That's one. It is not good timing to discuss that matter at the moment. It will be hijacked by Mr. Ruto, who will say, you see, they want to take, yet he's the one who wants to buy the Mpesa. It is not good timing. It doesn't give innovators like Paul Onyango, Daniel Wesonga, Gladwell, Kiragu, and Miriam who have innovations. Then if we innovate and throw it to other people. 4, have you ever seen America? Have you ever seen America separating the Wall Street, a dollar from Wall Street? If you have ever seen America telling you, trade in your corona, trade in Naira, and remove our dollar from Naira and trade, they will come for you. There are some stones. Are they coins? What are they called? Krypton? Is it something?
Krypton. You
can see the type of life they are fighting it. In fact, if they knew where the headquarters of those coins are, they will bomb it accidentally and say the plane landed there. Because nobody wants, Gaddafi had a problem. Gaddafi's part of what killed Gaddafi was to say, I am replacing a dollar with an African currency. Part of the problem China is going to have embargo is China has taken the platform. Look at China. The platform of credit card that China uses, it has given to Russia now because of the Ukrainian war. And China is having a backlash. The United States of America is warning China that it could lose some of the trading concessions because of that. Because at the moment, you can't use a credit card of MasterCard, Visa card, and a Dyna card in anywhere in Russia. But China has learned the platform. Why can't Kenya develop a platform of that nature turn Mpesa into a platform on Safaricom base. Forget about the issue of monopoly. The monopoly issue. What is a monopoly? Ask the governor what is a monopoly. Ask Eno Dunare what Atieno Nambafu. Adiech. Ask them. Kiragu will go to the Google and tell you what monopoly is. But ask a chain in Bungoma, in Chebutais, that what is a monopoly. Who knows? Do they know monopoly? They know the Mpesa. They don't want to know monopoly. They want to know Mpesa. So you are touching very difficult subject at the wrong time. It can lose as votes. Because this other guy will say, you see, if I don't come in to protect you, they will take Mpesa and make them to be in their banks. I don't have a bank in Kenya. That's what Ruto will say, isn't it, Onyango? You think he will not say that? He say, you know who is taking the Mpesa. So I am doing a service by speaking out. The governor is a good man. He has done it very well. He has kept the inflation of Kenya to the level of international standards. He has done it. The costs of fuel, gas, petrol is going to go up. And don't blame the governor. Don't blame Uhuru Kenyatta. Go and blame those people who started the war in Ukraine. It is normal. Go and look at the World Bank index, one IMF index. You are an economist. You studied economics, Mr. Paul. You will see that it is not Uhuru Kenyatta who increased the petrol. The petrol was increased by the war. So go and blame the man who created the war.
Mr. Putin.
People, yes, you cannot blame, you are not going to kill your president in Africa for the price of petrol going up. Otherwise, you will kill all the presidents in Africa now.
Doctor, I have a question for you.
Yes, thank you very much. I have submitted. Those who have picked what can pick the points, they can put the video. Or I will make a takeaway if they want. Yes, thank you. Now it is open. Miriam, thank you very much. Miriam, thank you, Mr. Paul Onyango. Miriam, give him the floor.
All right. Paul Onyango, nice to see you this morning.
Yes, I'm also grateful.
All right. So I don't know if you've been listening to what the submission Dr. Matsanga has been making, and what are your thoughts? Because Central Bank of Kenya now wants Safaricom to split Mpesa from its telecoms business. Governor Njoroge told Senate ICT committee separation will improve regulation. This comes as the Treasury is working on a proposal to cut Mpesa transfer charges in a move that looks to set to hurt Safaricom's revenues from a service that makes more money than its voice services. So what is your, what did you pick from what Dr. Matsanga was saying?
Okay, Mr. Masanga was right in his points. The legislation the central bank governor is proposing to enable Safaricom fall under operate Mpesa under the Banking Act. I think for now it might look something that a bit suspicious, because we are heading to election time, and over the years we have been having corruption in Jubilee government. So during election time, this is the time people transfer money, maybe for corruption or for election purposes or for any other purposes. So even Safaricom, we also have a problem. Maybe what needed to be done is to look at that platform and under which Safaricom is operating, because the citizens, this problem of SIM swapping, where somebody gets your details of your SIM registration, then he moves you out of air, then he transfers all your money that is within your account. So this fraud, Safaricom has not been very much it has not been very much hard on it, because some of the people involved and the internal employees, they collude with other thieves outside that ring Dr. is talking about, people who steal our money. So my take on it is that I would expect Safaricom, not now, maybe even our legislators, they can propose another law that will make Safaricom give a platform not for banking purposes, but maybe it can assist maybe in areas, maybe like, for example, like areas in the remote areas where government.
So what I'm hearing you to be saying is you support this move by the Central Bank of Kenya.
No, it might be having an exception, especially in the remote areas when government normally transfer that stipend transfer. You know those areas the banks might not be very much available, of course. So if that platform maybe, it might have an advantage when government is giving money to the elderly people. There's been that monthly stipend being provided. So the government had proposed that they could be using the mobile phones.
Yes, they are.
To transfer the money.
And they've been using. All right, and I think that is I think you're trying to explain how Safaricom is really very intertwined in Kenyans' everyday lives. So any move that might jeopardize that.
But Onyango, you had a question. What question was that?
My question was about this issue of SIM swapping. A lot of people are complaining that their money has been stolen, especially through Safaricom and many other players, not only Safaricom, where somebody steals your information, then moves you out of network from your own phone, uses the new SIM card he has on the hand to transfer all your money in the account. And this has been always, if you go deeply down, even if you report this, the Safaricom does not give you any information about it. Even if you suspect there's a fraud from somebody sent you a message or something that would like you to link you to a particular site, when you report these things, Safaricom never gives you back the feedback. So these are some of the shortcomings that Safaricom need to up their game.
All right.
Yes,
even as you come in, Daniel, because I wanted to perhaps ask you the next question, and maybe the issues that Paul is raising is very critical, and maybe that is why, CBK is thinking maybe there needs to be other ways to regulate this sector, but I think that is a separate matter. Daniel, I know you're a finance person, and Dr. Matsanga has brought in the issue of innovation. This new move, is it being seen as if it is stifling innovation, or, is Safaricom being punished for its success, even as you respond to some of those issues?
I think I agree with Dr. Matsanga that, it's a move that might not quite well be beneficial to Safaricom, and especially, when you talk about Safaricom, it's not the company, but the millions of Kenyans who depend on the Safaricom, the telecommunication company. So to me, I think it is not a move that is well-oriented to support the kind of care, the kind of good customer relations that people have been enjoying through Mpesa in Safaricom. It might bring on the table some disorganization, which might actually prove to be a conduit for people, again, maybe losing money, or maybe even mismanagement. Here it's a hard question where finances are involved, and wherever finances are involved, then we always need watertight policies to be able to ensure that everything runs seamlessly. But just like Dr. Matsanga said, perhaps we should give it time. It is too early maybe to cast aspersions, but that is nonetheless what we feel. And of course, I'm a financial expert, as well as also a cybersecurity expert. And maybe just to answer my brother Paul Onyango, maybe on his concern about SIM card swapping. These are very real concern. We've had thousands of Kenyans losing their monies through the same scheme, where people get that their IDs have been used to register phone numbers under their names, and then identical phone numbers under their names, and then whatever they do, they transfer the account, the active account ownership to this new number that has been fraudulently been registered, and before you know it, all your money is moving and all your data, and that is how you lose your money. Of course, the target of the SIM swapper is to get the money, not even your phone data, but SIM card data, but the money that is in there. And maybe I'll relate it to the most recent fraud, even in the mobile banking industry, where people could hack into a mobile banking app and be able to transfer money or withdraw money, especially from the elderly people and the people from the villages. And that is why Dr. Matsanga says someone in the city like myself, my sister Kirago, or maybe my brother Onyango, could be aware about these things that we are discussing on this particular platform. But if you go to a place like Ugenya, or maybe you go to Baropero, or maybe you go to Garissa, or you go to Kilifi in the hinterland there, no one will be able to understand whatever is happening. And therefore, it brings on the table a recipe of chaos, where if not carefully handled, then it's going to be a financial risk, not only to the company itself, but also to the users and the customers of the company. So on the matter of SIM swap, you can relate whatever Onyango is talking about. It's actually because someone might call you and request you for confidential personal information, maybe like your ID number, what is your maybe Mpesa password, and being maybe that you are not aware who is supposed to call you from the company, you voluntarily give this information, and then before you know it, your money is gone. Or in other incidences, you lose your ID and someone gets it, and they go to an unscrupulous maybe agent who has the rights to register a SIM card, and they register as an identical SIM card under your name without your knowledge, and before you know it, your money is gone. But thanks goodness, Safaricom has come up with a policy or maybe a tool that enables you to consent if your number is being registered at any particular point, or maybe your ID is being used, then you're gonna receive a message to confirm, or a notification to confirm whether it is you registering or it is another person registering. I've seen other mobile telecommunication companies like Airtel actually sending a code. So unless you are able to receive a code from your current SIM card, if you already have an existing SIM card, unless you are able to get that code from your messages, then the new line cannot be registered, the registration cannot be complete. So it is a matter of the financial security that Dr. Matsanga is talking about here. Not so many of our people are maybe aware of such kind of protocols when it comes to the regulation and just compliance and all that. So I think it's a murky it's a murky field, and therefore we need to be very careful even as we plan to maybe move Mpesa away from Safaricom, because when you talk about digital banking, mobile banking and all that, it has its pros and cons. It might be efficient as it is, but also we have the risk of losing money through maybe gullible users who do not know all these particular protocols that are required, the authentication and all that. So to me, I think it's something that we should approach with a lot of carefulness. So Miriam, I think to me, as it is, we shouldn't be in a rush to actually separate Mpesa from Safaricom. Rather, we would have given it time so that every user is able, first of all, to acclimatize on how Mpesa functions before we are able again to move them to another to another stage where they're gonna be using maybe another different platform and all that. In the corporate world, especially in retail business, there is what we call a client journey. You will always find a client who is a beginner, who is an intermediate, and who is advanced in using the platforms. So if you're gonna be moving people without the slightest regard, or maybe doing a research, knowing whether they are maybe intermediate or are they beginners, or maybe are they advanced, then you run the risk of actually making them vulnerable to these cyber crimes and money related scams. So to me, I think it would have been fair enough to leave M-Pesa with Safaricom for a while, and once everyone is well accustomed to how M-Pesa functions how to prevent maybe you losing your monies through fraudulent schemes like SIM swapping and all those stuff that we've been seeing Kenyans complaining about, then we can comfortably say now Mpesa is able to stand on its own, and it can be a separate entity from Safaricom and be able to run its affairs. And of course, right now, if you're gonna move Mpesa away from Safaricom, and most Kenyans are actually accustomed to, whenever they have a small issue, it is Safaricom they call first to be able to be assisted with the transaction. So it's gonna be a mix-up, Miriam. So and remember, whenever we have such a mix-up, we have people who want to capitalize on that and make a kill out of it. Such confusion will actually make more people, and especially in the digital space, more scams to come on board. You know, people trying to hoodwink maybe gullible users. Oh, you can do this and this, and you are able to transact your money and all that. So to me, I think let us proceed with carefulness, and I would really hope that we give Safaricom time and Mpesa time to grow together first before we can be able to think about separating them. Unless there's an ulterior motive, I don't think the time is right, Miriam.
Very well. Thank you so much for that also added valuable information as a finance person. Gladwell Kirago. Good morning.
Good morning to you, Miriam. I think I'm having network issues on my side.
But Dr. Matsanga made very important submissions there earlier. I don't know, what did you pick from that and what the rest of the panelists have said?
Gladwell, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, I'm there, but I'm having a little bit of network issues. My network is low.
Now we are just okay. Fine. Any submission on the issue of Safaricom? Well, your network is high.
Let's leave Gladwell for right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
let me come back to the question of Paul. So this swapping of, I have been a victim myself with Moses, my person PA. We sent money. Moses went with very good cool money, about 24,000 shillings to the post. So when he went, while he was on his way home going to send it to me, somebody in the middle called him, called numbers. Where are you? Where are you? Moses answered those numbers. By the time I waited for the money to be sent to me, I could not see the money. The whole night I said, what has happened? Moses, either I thought my PA had been kidnapped at night or taken by carjackers and he is not there. What is it? So I started even ringing the wife. Is this guy in there? Then no, he said the guy was looking, he's here. First, his phone could not even phone me back. You know, they had swapped, as you say, they had taken put his account in suspense account and then worked on his money. And several telephones calling you, calling me. Now a phone is calling me, but because they have now seen the data, how Moses sends the money to who. And they started calling me telephones in the morning. So I called Moses, said, what happened? Moses said, my friend, sir, I feared even telling you. As soon as I deposited the money was not available. Someone had taken the money. So we went to the Safaricom, we went to police. They told us to go to a long case. We lost. Go, Sijui, where go? We have arrested now this, we have got the camp. We lost 24,000 shillings up to today. That's it, it went. So we gave up. That one of now imagine that is within Safaricom, but separate it and put it as an entity. How much money are we going to lose?
And don't you think, Doc, maybe these are some of the issues that CBK has seen? Because myself, I also lost about 5,000 a couple of weeks ago. Send it to the wrong number. By the time I was calling Safaricom, the person has withdrawn and they told me there's nothing they could do about it. Can you imagine? I felt very helpless and he could not reverse it back.
But the media, okay, yes.
Yeah, so yeah, they told me there's nothing they could do about it. If I wanted, I went to they told me to go to the police report, and the process is so tedious. So the thought of it, I just let the money go. So you can imagine how, and many other Kenyans that suffer like this. Don't you think perhaps some of the issues, and there has been some challenges, because innovation is something that is ongoing, and Safaricom, the challenges that has been there in the past, and they're trying to respond to that. I don't know if they're responding to some of these issues that are now emerging, because the mobile money transfer, this is a new thing, and they're trying to develop as they go. As I said, the innovation is something that it keeps developing. But are they responding effectively to some of these issues that are emanating within the space of mobile money transfer?
Miriam, no.
See, maybe that's why the CBK wants
the
to
direct answer. If the CBK cannot detect 15 billion getting out of an account, how will the CBK detect a multi-trillion?
Yeah.
Tuambiane ukweli, jamani. Ruto makes a telephone call, gets money from Equity Bank, and that's what he told us. That we made one telephone call and Harun Ayadin was given 15 billion. Uganda doesn't have that 15 billion shillings. In dollars, where? Which bank in Uganda has that 15 billion?
But Doc, Equity Bank said they don't know, so maybe Ruto was not telling the truth. Maybe the money was really never transferred.
No, but Equity Bank did not come out clean up to today. How did they come out clean to tell us, okay, did Harun Ayadin receive 15 billion from Equity Bank in Kampala, yes or no?
Oh, in Kampala.
Yeah, but they control Kampala. Kampala money in Uganda, the maximum you can draw is not even $500,000. You can't draw that money in the bank in Kampala. How do you draw 15 billion? How? And two, the assets of Equity Bank, why it is operating in Uganda? Because it has assets. Bank of Uganda can only lend that 15 billion when authority from the main headquarters in Nairobi is there. Medium, that one is a complete lie. It is a lie. If CBK cannot control that money, how can CBK control a multi-trillion industry of Mpesa by bringing in? We are okay. If CBK PhD holder, my friend Njoroge says he is creating employment. Yeah, I can agree. He's creating employment and cars, another queue of cars, Mpesa Bank. Every branch manager will have a V8. That is, Jermaine, this is a subject that should not come here. Miriam, please, even if you lost money, I'm sorry. Don't bring this subject during.
Yeah, I did.
I did lose 24,000.
Can you imagine? And you could do nothing about it. You're very helpless.
Yes, but I am not going to bring this to spoil Raila's.
Yeah. But also, Doc, this is a debate that has been there since 2017, so it has not just started. It was a bill that was being discussed in Parliament.
Now, why are they are now bringing it here?
2019 also, it was being discussed, so it is something that has been ongoing, so perhaps the timing is not...
wrong timing.
Yes.
It is wrong timing.
It's wrong timing.
You wait tomorrow. No, you wait. We are here. By the end of the weekend, Ruto would have picked it on his rally. Atasema
The same Ruto who is saying Mama Mboga in his government should be able to go to a bank and get a loan without collateral, even if you're not banking with that bank, who does not understand financial regulations.
So, for me, on this one, I've disagreed. Nobody, if I have had my friends who want to change Mpesa to become a bank, and then they go in and borrow money from Mpesa, I have disagreed. I'm sorry. Let go ahead.
Doctor, you are right. Even the NYS scam.
Yes.
The transactions were done through bank managers.
Yes. So now, how will the bank correct? How will Njoroge, Mr. Njoroge in CBK, if no.
But
Please,
Doc, and what Paul is saying, you see, for that one, it was easy to pin down which bank manager. So it was easier to go for them. And you saw a few of them being presented in court to answer because it's easier to manage, I think, the banks to regulate. And maybe Safaricom.
Have you seen any bank manager in prison?
But some of them were summoned. The case is ongoing.
Yeah, they are summoning and in prison and going to jail.
It's different. True.
Because you have okay. Let's go to Kabura case. How many institutions were involved in the Kabura case? A bank is guarded by the police. Let's begin with Inspector General Police. Who were the policemen at the door? Who allowed Kabura at 2 a.m. to enter a bank? Forget about the normal askari, wale wenye narungu. Tuko na askari ya bunduki. Wanalala hapo. How did Kabura get out with the money? One, the police high command must have known. This crime is committed by very many people here. Mm-hmm. And the time has come for people to speak out. Look, the police high command knew how much that there was going to be a bank opened. Give me water. There is a bank opened, going to be opened because the alarm on the bank is at the police station. Miriam, in my house. Sorry about. I'm so upset. On my house, I have an alarm, which if I press, the nearest police station will arrive if they have petrol. So every bank in the town, city, CBD of Kenya has got an alarm to the police. And there's a special room there. There are 24-hour policemen working on those alarms. Am I wrong? They are there. I've seen them. So to open a bank after you have closed, as soon as you close the main bank, the safe, that network goes to the police. So how did they open to give Kabura 68 million? And the 68 million, look at the bag he was carrying. She was carrying getting out. Now, other banks opposed and other bodyguards opposed. Did they raise any alarm that this bank is being robbed that night, 2 a.m.? Who was the manager on duty? The owner of the bank allows the general manager to work at night if he's not going to earn any money.
Get some water, Doc.
Yeah, I've asked for water and nobody's giving me water.
Somebody should get it.
As I get water.
Yeah, so that you don't continue.
Onyango,
yes.
The situation is serious, is dire. The central bank cannot manage Mpesa. Since they cannot manage the normal banks. People have moved away from the culture of going to the bank. You remember those days when we grew up, going to the bank with your father was one of the most exciting situations. and not going to the bank has reduced a lot of death rate, because banks became killing point. You know, one of the places I fear going to is the bank. When the police car is escorting money, it is outside and you enter the bank. Never enter there, Onyango. Don't go there. Pass. Walk very fast. Because that is where the gangsters are also around. And they could exchange fire. You can get into chaos. Even in London. It's not only in Nairobi, everywhere. Even in London. The Jamaicans during the daytime divert the bank. Yes, they take it. The Jamaicans are not a joke. The way they take the vehicle and go and blow it up and get the pounds. It does happen. So for me, I don't think the central bank, CBK, can control what goes on, even if they separate to Mpesa. What we need is, excuse me, CBK to go back, look at the rules, change the entire act, banking act. The question, change the entire monopoly and the dominance. There is nothing like a monopoly. You have created your thing, then they said there is a monopoly. Why didn't you create yours and call it monopoly also?
Mm-hmm. So Safaricom is being punished for its success, and also
no, you take money from a man who has done very well, and you punish a wrongdoer. You reward a wrongdoer. Surely, which country is this? How do you take a good service, then reward very bad people? Banks. One of the banks.
Time. It's election time.
One of the banks told me they don't have. I went to the bank to send foreign currency. So I went to the bank to send foreign currency. I tell you to send some money home. I need water to send some money home. And the banker told me they didn't have money. I said, what? This is about a week ago. They said they don't have what? Money. I said, which money? The Kenya currency? I have it. No, they said they don't have the foreign currency. I said, I'm not sending. I'm not buying pounds. I want the money be sent to my wife to receive some money for some few payments or bill here and there. They told me we don't have the money. So I asked this cashier, can I talk to your manager? Why don't you close this bank then? Close it. You don't have Wesonga. You work in the banking and finance industry. I'm ashamed. So the manager comes down, Miriam, and tells me, Dr. Matanga, how much do you want to send? I said, I need 500 pounds. He said, oh, we have only 250. Is this Greece? Greece, yes, not Kenya. I looked at the general manager, I said, why don't you just, even somebody who has an account in London can help you. There are people who have accounts in London who have like 100,000 pounds. They can run a bank in Nairobi. That's why you have seen the the Somali Wala. What are they called, Onyango? You know those names. The Wala,
Ukawalas.
They send money. They are doing better. Have you seen the cars the Somalis roll in town? Those are the Walas. They have cash there, 200,000 pounds, 500,000 pounds cash. Unamupatia hapa 200 Kenya shilling 200,000 Kenya shillings, atakupatia huko dola 20,000 cash. What they call something. So how do you remove Mpesa from? Instead, Safaricom should move with this type of innovation to Addis Ababa. While we are here, we transfer money to Addis Ababa through Safaricom without separating them. You want to transfer money to London, Safaricom should be opening an office in London in the Kenya High Commission. That now a bank in Kenya does not have 250, 500 pounds. A shop should be opened around Manoa, a Sipusi Manoa is near there. A Kenyan businessman should run a Safaricom shop in London. Jamen, that's what the Arabs have done. Nyinyi wa Afrika, nyinyi, what is wrong with you? Now you want to sell your brand. You want to separate your brand. Your brand, instead of carrying Safaricom, we go to Edgeware Road and open a big shop of Safaricom. And we, the diaspora, who like to do the money in Kenya, who have relatives in East Africa, we shall transact the money. Water. So, Lydia, have you seen where we have gone wrong? Have you seen now where we have gone wrong? Safaricom, with its Mpesa, can turn itself into an international agency in central London, where even the Queen, when he wants to greet President Uhuru Kenyatta, can send her something. I'm just giving it as an, can the Queen or the Prince Wales or Prince William, who was here, Prince Edward and others who are here, they can say, hello, Mr. President, are you, even the minute, if you have your children studying in London, if Safaricom went and opened on international level media, you will pay your school fees very directly. You send the Kenya shilling here, your daughter or your son picks it in pounds at that rate. That is how Nigerians have already reached where? London with their naira. Have you seen what they have done? They stole from Kenya. We were very stupid. Nigerians came here and started learning how Safaricom operates. They went and put engineers in place, Miriam. Naira is being transferred direct from London in pounds, and the money is at home in Naira. The pound people are not bothered. Have you seen? The British are not bothered. They know you are bringing in the revenue, isn't it? That money will go, yeah, that money will go through their system. They are not bothered. Now, you know what we are doing in Medium here and Onyango? We are stealing our system, saturating it. Some Mzungu is going to come and say, I have modified it. Now I've created a system where Kenya can bank here. You will see. Give it 2 years. Yeah, give it only a few months. You will see. A Mzungu will come there and say, I have now anything you want, come to this office on Edgeware Road. You will have your money in Kenya in 1 minute. Isn't it what the Somalis are doing?
Yes,
Isn't
yes.
it? That's what they have done. So why don't you improve Safaricom to do what the Somalis are doing, and all of us are running to their shops in town? You put 1 million shillings here. 10,000 pounds will be given to you in London. In fact, you arrive, they have put it in an envelope, very well, it's smelling very nice. Now, those are the loopholes that Mr. CBK governor should be sealing, not to come to cut Safaricom, Mpesa from Safaricom. That is my submission.
All right, thank you so much. I don't know, should we end the show there, or somebody has something else they need to add to that?
Nyango, you have something else to say, or Daniel, or Kiruga, are you back?
I am back, Doc.
Yeah, go ahead, say something.
I was thinking of what you said, and I think it is true, but currently I think our banking system in Kenya got a problem, and most of the Equity Bank, we've got also issues, the same way you said you were conned and the transaction could not be traced, the same way with Equity, it is doing. So I think CBK is not it's not in the right position is not in the right position currently for Safaricom to give it the charge to handle Mpesa.
There you are. We got it. Daniel and Onyango, prepare your last remarks. Daniel. Yes, the last we are no. You can prepare your remarks. Yes. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Dr. Matsanga. And of course, I've been listening to your submission and the submission of the rest of the panelists. And I can totally agree with you guys that, even in Kenya, we still have people who are paid for white elephant projects, tenders which have not been done in the counties, people who have supplied air to the counties. But these guys are paid by banks. And, an individual holds an account, let's say, with Bank X. And you realize that our county government has paid even 40 million into this bank. And whatever will happen is that this individual will connive and cooperate with the branch manager of a bank, and they will never raise an alarm over this money, or maybe even put him to task or her to task to actually maybe declare this money and prove that these are money which is coming from rightful sources. And if it is a tender, they actually did some kind of work for the county or maybe any organization, even they delivered materials. And this has been happening. And the only thing that has been bringing out the corruptional cases in this country is through the Auditor General and the investigative work of our agencies. Otherwise, the banks have been a big letdown in making sure that they blow the whistle when it comes to financial crimes and corruption that has been happening in the country. And this is because the branch managers of various banks are small gods and goddesses in their jurisdiction, in that they run the industry like cartels. And therefore, I agree with you, Dr. Matsanga, that if we're going to be having Mpesa going a similar way, then we're going to be having other small gods and goddesses in terms of branch managers and regional directors and all that, who are going to be doing all kind of illegal business just to enrich themselves as they deprive Kenyans and the government of the day of profits and maybe good service in this particular industry. So I agree that our financial industry needs strict regulation, and not unless we put strict regulation in the financial industry, we should not be very swift to delink Mpesa from Safaricom, because it will be a recipe for disaster. And remember, globally, the financial system is a very, very sensitive system, in that if you do not do things the right way, then you are at risk of maybe losing a very huge amount of money through the platforms. And owing to the fact that Mpesa is an electronic way transfer of money, someone could lose a huge sum within a blink of an eyelid, and that would be a bit unfortunate. Of course, you've narrated on how you are able to lose a good sum of money through Mpesa maybe transaction. Miriam has, and I believe a majority of us have undergone through the same scenario. So I can't even maybe contemplate the kind of mess that we're going to be having if we will have to move Mpesa away from Safaricom, owing to the amount of support that Safaricom has been giving the platform, and also the kind of the custom that the Kenyan people have been having towards Safaricom and Mpesa. So it is going to cause confusion, and that confusion is going to be a recipe for chaos, and that chaos will lead for the loss of money by all the users of the service, which might not be of a good reputation even for the country's financial system. So I believe the stakeholders are going to put this into consideration so that we are not doing things in a hurry, and at the end of the day cost Kenyans their money and also cost the reputation of a good company. I submit.
Onyango.
Yes, Daktari, before I forget, you promised to make a call.
I will call. I will call. Yeah, thank you very much. And
Yes,
I'm going to make a call today, honestly. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Now, I have some few remarks to make about what you are saying. I totally agree with your sentiments, but I would like to say this to CBK. The governor, you should make the Banking Act, even if you want to incorporate Safaricom money mobile transfer, you need to change the law to make them be accountable on information regarding our data they have, how that data is used.
Yes.
Secondly, the communication authority, they also need to expand the network coverage, because we want to make this our innovation be ours. We want it to reach every part of the country, not the way Chebukati is complaining 11,000 polling stations don't have coverage. We are calling upon communication authority. They expand the network coverage to other areas such that those who want to use Safaricom or other mobile services be able to do what? Be able to reach the coverage of the network. Third, the communication, the data authority. We have a new authority under ICT, those who manage our data. They also need to ensure that Safaricom complies with the data management regulations. If the regulations are not there, they're supposed to forward those regulations for Parliament to pass them. I understand the data authority was created. Some regulations have not been passed. Safaricom and CBK, you want to change the law regarding our information. This platform will be a mess if these things are not put in place in good time. Thank you. I submit.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Miriam. I want to do a takeaway. Time and time again, Africa has been a center of innovations. Our innovations in Africa have been taken away by people who modify them and return them to us in another format and own them. When is Africa going to wake up to protect its innovations? Safaricom was one of the most outstanding and still the most outstanding innovation that Africa has ever seen and displayed to the international community. But when you get Safaricom, when you mutilate it, cut it to pieces, turn it into localized mechanism, somebody in Europe will turn it into a big agency and return to sell the same product to us in an organized manner. Why is Africa not organized? Why don't we change our banking laws? Why do we still think of monopoly and the dominance? Yet in Europe, the dominance and the monopoly has been working very well because of a social contract. Does Africa have a social contract? Why is it that China 40 years ago had no social contract? But it went back and built a social contract that China today lends us money, and yet it had one rice scheme in Uganda called Kibimba Rice Scheme, which was feeding millions and millions of Chinese together with Ugandans half. Are we people of our own senses? We cannot manage banks. People draw billions and billions of shillings out of banks in a day, undetected. People lose money into the systems that we have today. There's bank fraud on the digital platforms. And yet we want not to strengthen the institutions that we have, but to make institutions, to grow them, to create jobs for other people on a higher quality, higher basis, without looking at the lower base of our people. Why are we creating positions by separating Mpesa from Safaricom? Yet we can take Safaricom as it is, as a corporate entity with its subsidiaries, create a better African innovation. I submit, therefore, that Africa needs to look at its laws, some of them which they inherited from our colonial masters. They have never repealed them. They have never changed them, like the Banking Act, which still has obnoxious sections that are not even implemented. It is therefore a very big shame that we make our innovations on the continent and destroy them and give them to others to modify them and return them in another format. And that is my submission, that Safaricom, Mpesa should not be separated from Safaricom, but instead molded together with a Safaricom product protected by the Copyright International Innovation Act that will be a legacy for His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta and other people of Kenya, that one day history will read us just as it reads about Adam Smith, Karl Marx, Max Weber, Socrates, Plato, Nikolai Machiavelli. Name them. All these are inventors. Why are we killing our inventors and our innovations? Those who discover things are never rewarded. Why is Africa rewarding, taking from the hardworking and rewarding the failures? Why are we bewitched? I submit. Thank you very much. Back to you, Miriam.
All right, and that is where we end our show this morning. Thank you so much for watching.
Onyango, I'm going to call you. I'm finished now. I hope that was good, Miriam. It's a small one. Yes.
All right, I was just ending the show. Thank you for watching. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
I thought you had ended. Okay, fine.